Now, we live in a time right now where there's so many different options out there when it comes to making money. We've got things like drop shipping, e-commerce, print on demand, selling on Amazon, eBay, affiliate marketing, YouTube. You know, there's so many different options out there, but it's going to be your job as a beginner from day one to make sure that you just pick one option. Now, there's certain things that you need to think about when it comes to this part of the process, because the mistake that so many people make is that the option that they pick is based on someone else's lifestyle. What most of you are probably doing is looking at people on social media, looking at people on the internet, studying what car they're driving, what house they're living in, and because they might be driving a really, really nice car or they might be living an amazing lifestyle, you want to do exactly what they're doing to make money. And of course, I'm not saying that this is a completely bad idea, but you don't want to just copy what someone's doing just because of the life they're living. You want to know whether or not what they're doing matches your personality and matches your skill set. When it comes to picking one business model that you're going to focus on, you want to make sure that you're going to be able to stick with it over the long term and that you're not just going to give up because it's not something that you really want to do. And just to use myself as a quick example, this is exactly what happened to me. When I first decided to start making money online back when I was working a 9-to-5 job, one of the business models or one of the methods that I decided to choose was day trading, specifically Forex. And I'm not saying that Forex is a bad idea and it doesn't work, but what I'm saying is that I decided to do it because I saw someone buy a Lamborghini and then they wrapped it gold and they seemed to have been living an amazing lifestyle. So I wanted to copy what they were doing, even though I didn't really want to put my energy into trading Forex because I wanted to go down the path of building a real business that sold products to customers. But simply because of the car that someone was driving and the life that they were living, I just outright copied them and ignored the passion that I had when it came to building the business that I wanted to build. And the point that I'm trying to make right now is that I just ended up wasting a year of my life trying to do something that I really wasn't passionate about. So when it comes to the point where you need to decide on what business you're going to build, just make sure that you sit down, you grab a piece of paper, you grab a pen, and you write down what you're interested in, what you're passionate about, what you have skills in. And by making sure that you focus on just one business model and put all your energy into that, that's going to be one of the first steps when it comes to you achieving financial freedom. But moving on to one of the second things that I want to talk about that's super important when it comes to going from zero to over $10,000 per month as a beginner, which is the importance of having an optimistic mindset. Now, of course, having a solid plan and a solid strategy for whatever online business you're trying to build is really important, but at the same time, whatever's going on up here is going to determine the type of success that you're going to have. One of the earliest things that I learned when it came to building up all of my online businesses is that when I had a pessimistic mindset, which is basically a negative mindset, I wasn't really making the right decisions. And the reason for this is that if you're telling yourself in your head that things are not going to work out, you're going to fail, and you're basically not the person that's going to be able to accomplish the goals that you have, then that's the only thing you're going to see. You're not going to see any opportunity that's going to get you to the next level. So every day that I woke up, I had to always tell myself that I was the person that was going to accomplish $10,000. And even if something negative was happening at the time, I just used it as a lesson when it came to me understanding the potential obstacles for the businesses that I was trying to build. And for those of you that are currently thinking, Sam, I'm not really sure of exactly what an optimistic mindset means and what a pessimistic mindset means, I'm just going to give you a quick explanation. So of course, an optimistic mindset is where you think in a positive way and you kind of think about the positive outcomes. On the other hand, a pessimistic mindset is where you kind of only focus on the negative outcomes. And whichever way of thinking that you put your focus onto, those are the type of outcomes that you're going to see. And to use myself and my early journey as an example once again, when I was building up my first ever online business, which was an e-commerce business where I was selling products initially on eBay, in the early days, I had a negative mindset, I had a pessimistic mindset, and I wasn't really able to clearly see the path in terms of the steps that I needed to take. The only thing that I was attracting to me was negative outcomes. But one day I read a book and it spoke about the importance of an optimistic mindset. And as soon as I shifted towards that way of thinking, that's when I started finding winning products that started generating me thousands of dollars every single day. And I was able to just see these big opportunities that I never used to see back when I was thinking in a negative way. So I'm a big believer that the perspective that you have is ultimately going to determine the level of success that you're going to see. So if you're currently a beginner that's trying to go from zero to $10,000 per month, this is definitely something that you need to remember. But this now brings me on to the next principle that you need to make sure that you're aware of when it comes to making $10,000 per month as a beginner, which is the fact that nothing's ever going to happen if you're not taking action. So one thing that I've noticed with so many beginners that I come into contact with on a day-to-day basis is that they want to live this life, they want to live that life, they want to travel there, they want to buy this, but they're not really willing to put the action that's necessary to make it happen. And if there's one thing that I've learned when it comes to building online businesses, especially in the early days, you're going to have to work every single day and take massive action when it comes to receiving massive results. The one thing that you want to avoid doing is waking up first thing, watching TV and watching other people live out their lives instead of you taking action when it comes to building your dream life. And as soon as I learned this concept, that's exactly what I started doing. As soon as I would wake up, even when I was working my 9-to-5 job, I would wake up 4 a.m. in the morning, 5 a.m. and I would do something to work on my business. So as I said, at the time I was focused on growing my e-commerce business. So what I'll do before work is wake up and list products, maybe reply to customers' emails. I would also try and find winning products, reach out to suppliers. I was always doing the things that were necessary for me to move the needle forward in my business. And that's the exact same thing that I would do when I get back from work, and I would also do it on the weekend as well. And by me making sure that I was putting in massive action when it came to my goals and my objectives, that's when I started to see results coming in, and it was somewhat of a snowball effect. The more action that I put in, the more results that I was seeing. So my advice to any beginner out there is that you want to try and remove any pointless distractions. You know, if your friends are inviting you to parties, or maybe there's this useless event that's not going to have any sort of impact on your life, I would say try and ignore all of that and put all your energy and all your action and all your focus into trying to get to around $10,000 per month. It's not necessarily going to be easy because, of course, things are not just going to happen overnight. You're going to have to be consistent when it comes to the action that you're putting in, but the more you're able to be consistent and the more you're able to take calculated moves to accomplish $10,000 per month, that's when you're going to start to see your life slowly change. And this actually now brings me on to one of the next principles that's really important when it comes to going from $0 to $10,000 per month in profit, which is the 80-20 rule. So this rule was and still is one of the most pivotal things that I've learned when it comes to online business. And for those of you right now that are scratching your head thinking, Sam, what exactly is the 80-20 rule and how does it work and how is it going to make me money? Now, it's actually quite simple. The 80-20 rule simply means that 80% of the results that you're having in your business normally comes from around 20% of the actions that you're taking. And this might still sound a little bit confusing, so let me just simplify it a little bit more. So basically, 80% of the money that your business is going to make is only going to come from 20% of the actions. And the reason why this is important to know is because you just want to focus on those 20% of actions that's moving the needle forward in your business. It's normally just going to be a few things that you're doing, or maybe just a few products that you're selling that's going to have the biggest results. But the mistake that most people make when it comes to the action that they're taking is that they don't focus on that 20% and they end up doing useless things that's not driving any sales, it's not bringing any revenue, and it's not bringing any profit. And when it comes to the 20% of actions that you should focus on, of course, this is going to be dependent on the business that you're building. So if I just use an e-commerce business as an example, when it comes to the 80-20 rule, now 80% of the revenue in my e-commerce business comes from, let's say, 20% of the products that I'm selling. If I'm selling 100 different products, normally it's going to be just 20 products that's having the biggest result. So I want to focus my energy and my marketing efforts on just those 20 products. The 80-20 rule also, of course, applies to the actions that you're taking. So let me use a YouTube channel just to kind of make you guys understand what I'm talking about. So when it comes to running a YouTube channel just like this, there's so many different actions that I could be taking. For example, I could be coming up with video ideas, I could be filming videos, I could be editing videos, I could be replying to comments, I could be doing so many different things. But I would say that the 20% of actions that's having the biggest result is maybe filming videos, right? So I would rather put my energy into this and maybe outsource the rest of the work. There's so many different ways that the 80-20 rule can apply to whatever business that you're running, and it's going to be your job to figure out the most important things for you to put your energy, your action, and your focus into for you to go from $0 to $10,000 per month really, really quick. But on to the next principle that I want to share with you guys, which is to make sure that you're always educating yourself along your journey. Now, this is something that I wish I knew from the very beginning, because I didn't really put a lot of priority when it came to, learning from people that was doing what I wanted to do. And because of that, I ended up making so many different mistakes that I didn't really need to make. Now, when I say education, I'm not saying that you always need to pay for it. Paying for it is not a bad idea, but there's a lot of free education out there. Even things like this video that you're watching right now is really, really useful because it's going to help you think in a certain way. My advice to any beginner out there when it comes to trying to learn something is just make sure that you found someone that you know is giving you accurate information. You also make sure that you listen to what they're saying, but you also also try and put your own spin on it, because you may have a certain way of doing it that's going to bring you better results, and at the end of the day, we're all individuals. But the main reason why education is important is because it's going to enlighten you on any obstacles that you're going to face when it comes to going from $0 to $10,000, so that you can easily avoid it, or even if you face that obstacle, you're going to know exactly what you need to do. And when it comes to different ways that you can educate yourself, you can do it through books, audio books, podcasts, YouTube videos, and there's also online courses. For example, I recently released a completely free online course that anyone can sign up to. In this course, I just break down all of the steps that you need to know when it comes to starting a e-commerce business from your house, and I show you step by step, click by click, everything that you need to do. So if you wanted to sign up to that free course, it's going to be the first link in the description. But the main point is that you want to continuously keep educating yourself. Even if you get to $10,000 per month, you want to make sure that you're still educating yourself, because that's what's going to get you to 20,000, 30,000, so on and so forth. Which now brings me on to the final principle that you guys need to know, which is that winners never quit and quitters never win. One thing that I've noticed with so many people that contact me in this day and age is that they give up too soon. I've noticed that when it comes to all of the different online businesses that I've built, there's been so many different times that I could have quit, and if I did quit, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish the success that I've been able to accomplish with that particular business. Because I've noticed that every single time that I felt like quitting, because I've put extra effort and I've made sure to push myself at that point, that's when all of the success has come to me. So if you want to be the type of person that's able to accomplish a ridiculous level of financial freedom, and you want to make $10,000 really quick, it's all going to come down to you being consistent, persistent, and you don't give up too soon. Now, if you've enjoyed this video so far, don't forget to press the like button. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And don't forget to subscribe as well. Hit the bell notification so that YouTube can let you know when a new video has been released. Don't forget to sign up to that completely free course and masterclass. It's going to be linked down below. It's definitely going to help you out when it comes to kind of pointing you in the right direction to start an online business from the comfort of your own home. And comment down below if you got any questions whatsoever, because I'm trying my best to respond back to as many comments as possible. And if you want to watch a recent video that I made not too long ago where I go through the top 7 or 10 side hustles that's going to get you to around $10,000 per month as a beginner, you're going to be able to watch that video by clicking the link right there. Check that out straight after this, because it's already helped out so many people, and I'm sure that it's going to help you out too. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Make sure you stay safe out there. Peace.